My story concerns this old Chevrolet. How old? Well, if you must be exact, it's a 1939 model. It has running boards, rounded fenders, and a gear shift that comes out of the floor. In the rear is a tiny window and a bulging trunk, and tail lights that look like red silver dollars. It's a good solid car, mind you, made of real steel, and it has lots of character. Its owner is proud that he's kept it in what he calls good condition for all these years, and he is perfectly satisfied with it. One day, as he was driving down one of the main streets of his town, his car was stopped by a parade. There were bands and crowds and flags and streamers. Most interesting of all, some important personage was being escorted to the stadium. Who should it turn out to be? But the ambassador from Celestia on an official visit. The owner little realized the effect of the occasion on his faithful Chevy until they reached home. Just as he was about to turn off the ignition, the owner was startled out of a year's growth as the Chevy began to speak. "Just a minute," it said. "I've been thinking it over since we watched that parade this afternoon. I don't want to be an old Chevrolet any longer. I want to be a brand new Cadillac." "What in the world has come over you?" gasped the owner. "I don't know. It's just that when I saw that sleek, shiny car carrying that ambassador up Main Street, I just got an uncontrollable urge to be a new Cadillac. I want to carry important people around, too." "This pile must be overheated," muttered the owner as he pulled the key and went into the house, hoping a good night's sleep would straighten out the matter. Right now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, what kind of nonsense is this? Before you judge too harshly, let me tell you about a verse in the Bible. It says that if any man is a Christian, he has become a new creation. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. I'd simply like to ask the question, what is meant by a Christian being a new creature? And how can anybody become new? Well, just for our story, let's imagine that we're all old automobiles. Some of us look like proud old Packards still trying to run like new. And some like rebuilt 1920 Buicks, tired and worn by the years. And others like various rusted out wrecks, struggling on against the bumps and jolts of our life. The question is, how can these beat-up old cars be made over into brand new models? Well, back to our allegory. Next morning, the owner found to his dismay that the old Chevy had not forgotten its strange ambition. On the contrary, things seemed to have crystallized. "I've decided," it announced, "what you and I have to do. You take me down to the garage. They have a new finishing process that they use on Cadillacs. Give me a shine like a Cadillac. Then I've decided I smell too much of alcohol. Have me drained and flushed out and filled up with Prestone. Who ever heard of a Cadillac smelling of alcohol? Then I want a ring job that will get rid of my bad habit of smoking. Did you notice any smoke coming out of that Cadillac's exhaust? Of course not. The owner balked, but finally gave in and had all 3 jobs done at the local garage. The Chevy's improvement was dramatic. "Look at me," it crowed. "Boy, do I shine like a Cadillac. I look clean. I feel clean. I don't smell of alcohol. And I don't smoke. I'm sure everybody must think I'm a new Cadillac." The Chevy felt like floating along on a cloud. "Boy, do I feel great. I'm a shiny one now. This is the life. Here I am, you lucky caddies." But all the while it knew it was trying to fool everybody else and not succeeding too well. And after a short interval of exhilaration, there came a depression almost too heavy for the shock absorbers to bear. But then, one day a new idea occurred to the Chevy. Its owner had been using a downtown parking lot that charged $1 a day. Right around the corner, there was a 10-story elevator lot that charged $2.50 a day. Naturally, there were many more Cadillacs parked here. "Let's go to the Cadillac parking lot," it suggested. And although the thrifty owner balked, he eventually gave in again. And for the next few weeks, that is where they went. It seemed to work, too. Just being among so many Cadillacs seemed to affect the Chevy. "This environment is what I need," it said. "These caddies are already accepting me as one of them." But the beautiful dream crashed to earth one day when a child stepped out of the elevator and exclaimed, "Look at that old Chevy parked up here with all those nice Cadillacs." From that moment on, the Chevy wanted no part of the expensive lot. A short time later, however, it perpetrated another piece of strategy. It being time to renew licenses, the Chevy got its owner to falsify registration papers and have it listed on the rolls of the state as a Cadillac. But sadly, it realized that even this did not help. Then one day, a clever Mercedes drove up alongside as the Chevy was parked. "What's the matter, little one?" it inquired. "You look just miserable." It didn't take the Chevy long to unburden itself. "You certainly came to the right place for guidance," gushed the Mercedes. "I can help you. You need, first of all, to think right thoughts. Since you want to be a Cadillac, you must think Cadillac thoughts. Whenever a Chevrolet thought comes into your radiator, you must repeat slowly, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, I am becoming more and more like a brand new Cadillac." It seemed so easy that for 2 weeks, the little Chevy tried it religiously. "I'm becoming like a caddy. I'm becoming like a caddy. I'm becoming like a caddy." But finally, its rattles and squeaks proved too much to overcome. And it knew, in fact, it was still the same old Chevy. Next morning, the owner found his car more disturbed than ever. "It's hopeless," moaned the Chevy. "I'll never be a Cadillac this way." "Do you think if you took me to the head man of General Motors, he could help? After all, he makes all the Chevys and all the Cadillacs, and if there's anyone that can do anything, it's him." Before long, they found themselves approaching the main entrance of the General Motors building. As they stopped, to their surprise, they saw the headman himself approaching them. "What can I do for you?" he asked. And the 1939 Chevy told all that was on its heart. When it had finished, it was amazed and overjoyed to hear the words, "Why, yes, we'll be glad to do that for you. But," warned the headman, "you'll have to give up everything, for we don't use old Chevy parts in a new Cadillac." Then the headman invited the owner to step out and put one of his own men behind the wheel. The new driver took the excited little car out to the edge of town, then down under an old bridge, and into a big yard with a sign at the gate that read, "You see, we don't use old Chevy parts in a new Cadillac." "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it."
For 1,000 tongues to sing my
This ends my allegory. I can't explain to you what the head man did to change that disreputable, worthless old Chevy into a beautiful new Cadillac. But I can tell you that under General Motors' meticulous cost control, the expense of this miracle had to be charged to somebody's account. In this case, it was charged to the head man himself.